Hello and welcome to this second walkthrough video for Chapter 5, where we're going to look at job order costing. Quite a few problems on job order costing. We actually have two problems that we need to do, and this one will be great fun because we have tons of calculations to do for the first time in a long time. So we have this company, Vistaprint is a company that designs and creates custom marketing products. Assume the company started new job last month, but completed no units. In the current month of March, the company identified the following cost information. So we have some beginning work in process costs and some finished goods, and then some costs assigned during March. Under required, we have to determine cost of goods manufactured, assuming a certain balance for work in process, compute cost of goods sold, assuming a zero balance in ending finished goods. And we have to find the total manufacturing costs per unit, assuming 1,000 units were produced. Now, the great thing about this is we don't actually have to do an entire statement of some sort to do this. We can quickly calculate the numbers. Now, of course, we're going to try to do this in a manner that is uniform and neat for you so that when you go back and look at it, it actually makes sense later on. That's my hope. But we'll see. No, I'm sure I'll make it somewhat uniform. And if it's difficult to follow, just reach out to me and say, I don't understand your spreadsheet. And I'm happy to do another one for you. All right, so to find cost of goods manufactured, we need to apply the inventory formula to work in process. We're going to take beginning inventory and we're going to add in all of our production costs, materials, labor, and overhead. Then we're going to subtract ending work in process, and that is going to be our cost of goods manufactured. So here we go with work in process 3-1. And then we're going to take direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. And then we're going to subtract work in process 331, which was 0. But we'll throw it in there anyway so that we can use this as a guide. All right, beginning work in process was 18,500. Direct materials was 12,000. Labor was 5,000. And overhead was 7,500. 9,100. Now, normally we would subtract our ending work in process, but it's 0. And now we can find the sum of all of these. And that is cost of goods manufactured. Now, I think in the next problem, we'll get to do an entire statement, so you'll get to see how neat that looks. But for now, we're just doing quick calculations. Now, in B, we're going to apply the inventory formula to finished goods inventory to help us find cost of goods sold. So sort of that same process, only we need to use cost of goods manufactured that we just calculated. So we're going to take finished goods on March 1st, and we're going to add in cost of goods manufactured, and we're going to subtract finished goods at the end of the period, which is 0. No, was it 0? No, it was 1,200. So beginning finished goods was 8,000. We're going to add in cost of goods manufactured that we just computed here, that 43,000. And then we're going to subtract 1,200. Now, let's combine all of those together. And that is cost of goods sold. And the last one here, if the manufacturing process is complete for new job and a total of 1,000 units were produced. What is the total manufacturing cost per unit? Now, keep in mind that they started new job last month, but completed no units. And in the month of March, they have the following costs. So all of the costs that are here, because that uh, manufacturing process is complete for a new job, that means whatever we transferred out was for new job, and that is the total cost of new job. So if we needed to find the total manufacturing cost per unit, we're going to take our cost of goods manufactured. Gotta hit a button here of 43,000. And we're going to divide it by the total number of units we produced, 1,000. And of course, we get 43. And I can make this look nice. Now, that takes care of how costs flow in a job order costing system. Now, let's look at the official statement. And that's this problem here that I have made so small, where we're going to use this information that's given to us, and we're going to prepare a cost of goods manufactured statement and an income statement. Now, so I have to resize my columns here. And because these two statements that we're going to do are official statements, then we have to make sure things are properly centered and that we have headings and dollar signs and all that good stuff. And that's why I am resizing columns. So before we can even prepare the income statement, we do have to do the cost of goods manufactured statement. So let's start with that one. We need the name of the company, Bridgeview Manufacturing Company, the title of the report, and the date. Is this for the month? Sure, August 31. Now, our starting point here is, and I'll center that at the end, but our starting point here is going to be our current manufacturing costs. So we're going to take all of our manufacturing costs and we're going to add that to beginning work in process and subtract out ending. All we're doing is applying the inventory formula to work in process. So we have our current manufacturing costs. And then let's see that with all these little headings and things, I should have had an extra column in here to help me with my spacing. Then I had the cost of materials placed in production, because that's where we need to start. We first have to apply the inventory formula to raw materials because they don't give me raw materials used as I quickly scan this. They give me beginning and ending inventory for raw materials, and then they give me the purchases. So I have to find raw materials used. So we are going to take beginning raw materials, 81 of 6,000, and we're going to add to that the raw materials purchases of 32,000, and that's going to give us the total available. Then we're going to subtract out raw materials at the end of the period. And that's 6,500. Now let's do some math. First thing I need to do is make this look nicer. Some commas, because I'm starting to get confused already. All right, so we're going to add these two. And then let me put in a single underline, another single underline. And then we're going to do the math here for the total available minus the raw materials. Now, that number represents the raw materials used during production. Now I can add in direct labor, which is explicitly given to me, no extra work, 22,000. And then manufacturing overhead, which is also explicitly given to me, 38,600. And when I combine those three, which I'm going to throw in my FAR column, that subtotal, that's going to be my total manufacturing cost. Okay, now I'm going to deal with work in process at the beginning of the period. And that's going to get added in, 4,600. And when I combine those two, that's going to give me the total costs in process. I'm going to put in an underline there. And we're going to subtract the ending work in process. So unless you're working backwards, you're typically adding beginning, subtracting ending. Where are you work in process? 5,900. And then that's going to give us cost of goods manufactured. We're going to combine those two. All right, now let's make this look nice and neat by merging and centering the heading. And I'm going to have to throw in some dollar signs here. But we did all that to find cost of goods manufactured. Remember, we're just applying that inventory formula where you take beginning inventory plus your transfers in, you subtract out ending, and then that's going to give you what you used or what you sold or what you finished. Dollar sign, not a K. By the first number in the column, and I like to do last number in the column as well. And that's all done. Now let's do the income statement. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I'm going to copy and paste. But only this is an income statement this time. And let me move down my information. Now, this income statement is based on financial accounting. So we're going to see gross profit, not contribution margin. So I'm going to start with my sales. And my sales are, I think the problem tells me, yes, 250,000. And then I need to find cost of goods sold. So same as we did before in that other calculation, in the other problem, but this time we're applying the inventory formula to finished goods inventory. So we're going to take beginning finished goods, $12,000. And we're going to add in cost of goods manufactured. Right there. And then that gives me total goods available. We add those two numbers together. Ooh, I'm all over the place. 12,000. And then we subtract finished goods at the end of the period. So 831. And that's 15,000. All right, let me throw in some single underlines before I get confused. And all of that work just to find cost of goods sold. So we combine these two. Oh, I think I might have typed something in wrong. Let's see. Cost of goods manufactured. I should have gotten, let's see. Let me go back. I think I typed something in wrong up here. 6,000 plus 32 minus 65, 22, 38,600. Oh, that's 5,800, not 5,900. 5,800. Did I change it right? I don't think so. Goodness gracious, what did I do? Changed the wrong thing. Negative 5,800. Okay, that's better. 90,900 and then 87,900. Okay. See how you make a mistake in one area and then it flows through to the next area? All right, so we're going to take gross profit, which is the difference between our sales and our cost of goods sold. Line goes there. And then we can finally subtract out selling and administrative, which I don't know what those are. 98,600. And then we arrive at net income, which is the difference between gross profit and selling and administrative costs. Sure. All right, so 63,500 is my net income. So let me add my top and double bottom border, and let me do my dollar signs. And there is the income statement. So there you have it, a schedule or a statement of cost of goods manufactured that flows into an income statement. Just don't make the mistake I made because it'll mess up your net income figure. All right, that takes care of the job order costing video. Join me for part 3 of chapter 5, whether it's the walkthrough video or the actual chapter video. I so appreciate your time and attention. Hope you have a wonderful day.